So in this video, we're going to talk about the important Power BI DAX functions which are essential for financial domain. Okay, these are very basic and very important DAX expressions which you definitely created, which you should create. Okay, apart from this, you can just think more and do it, but this is very essential. Okay, so we know that DAX is the important expression which is available in Power BI. Okay, so DAX is really required for creating any KPI. Okay, so before we proceed, I would like to tell you that this is my blog where you can find more useful informations, downloads, and everything. Okay, so follow my blog for more information, and this is my channel where you can subscribe to this channel and you can join as a member. So what will you get if you join as a member? So here you can see that every week at least one or two videos I'm releasing specifically for the members, where you can find various useful stuff related to the functional and technical consultant. So here you can see it as a functional consultant interview question answer. So I will be also sharing the documents, important checklist, and the documents with you to utilize it. Okay, so this is what about the members. So if you want to join, consider joining as a member in my channel. So yes, let us, if you talk about DAX. So DAX is basically a data analysis expression, which is like a programming language that is used throughout the Microsoft Power BI for creating calculated column, calculated measures, and custom tables. So it has its own functions, operators, and constants that can be used in the formula. So DAX is similar to the Excel functions. Okay, like basically you'll create some. If you know Excel, then it is like a Excel formula. So this is for Power BI. So it has various DAX formula functions. So I have segregated it based on the type, like aggregation, logical functions, filters, time intelligent function, date and time, math, trig function, trigonometric function, statistical function, and relational function. So if you talk about aggregate function, you have to do sum, average, count, min, max, sum x, average x, and count x. So you have various other various other aggregate functions, but what you have to do is what sum. So this functions is used to calculate the sum of the like you can just try to find the total revenue or total expenses or total profit of your financial data. If you take about the average, okay, it is used to determine the average sales per month or average transaction size. So it is very simple. Basically, you have to just simply type like average, average of the column name you have to specify. Usually it will be like table of column name. So it is very easy. Okay, like the Power BI DAX is very very easy. So next is count. So basically, if you wanted to calculate the customer count or the transaction count, how much transactions happen during this particular year, number of products sold in the year. So all these things, or a number of products sold in the specific month or specific quarter, you can go ahead with the count. Okay, if you talk about min max, so we can determine the highest or lowest sales period or to identify the product with the highest or lowest sales. So this is for min max. And sum max, so if you wanted to create calculations that involve multiple tables or related columns, so you can go ahead with the sum max. So sum will have only a specific column. Okay, you can just pass one parameter, whereas in sum max it will be useful in order to create a calculations that involve multiple tables or related expressions. Likewise, average used to calculate the average revenue per customer or the average price per the product. And count x, if you wanted to calculate the customer count, the transaction count, or the number of products sold, you can go ahead with the count x. So all the average functions, you can just go ahead use these functions to calculate based on your financial data you have. Next, if you want to talk about logical function, so logical function we have two types. One is if and switch. In if function, if you wanted to test a value, for example, it is useful for creating a conditional calculation, such as calculating sales for a particular product line. So if sales is greater than this particular amount, then it is considered to be it is considered to be the highest sale. Or if the sales is, you can just write like this. So if sales, sum of sales is less than this amount, then probably the sales has to improve. Okay. Or else, so what? So in DAX we'll be writing it in a different manner, but anyhow the logic is same. Okay. So this is about the if. And switch is also a logical condition, logical expression, so it is useful for create more complex conditional calculations. And the next one is what a filter function. So in filter function, the function filters a table or an expression using a specific condition. Like for example, it is useful for selecting a subset of data for analysis or reporting. And if you take calculate, calculate is also another important filter function. So this function modifies the context in which a measure is evaluated. It's useful for creating more complex calculations. Okay. So you can go ahead with the calculate or else calculate table. So this function modifies the filter context of a table or an expression. It's useful for creating complex calculations that involve multiple dimensions or filters. So this is about the filter functions. And if you take about the time intelligence, we have total YTD and first date and last date. So for total YTD is used to calculate the total year to date. So Y means year, T means two, and D means date. So a total year to date value of measure. It's useful for tracking performance over time, such as sales or revenue. So how much year to date? For example, particular year. So if you want to calculate 2022, what is the sales from 2022 till today? Okay, so year to date. Okay. And the next one is first date or last date. So if you wanted to calculate the first or last date or the first or last invoice data, then you can, that is the last date when the customer purchased this particular product. So all these things can be calculated with this time intelligence functions. Though we have various time intelligence function for financial domain, we can use this. And date and time function, you can find date difference. Okay, to calculate the length of the time between two financial events, such as time between purchase and return. Okay. And year, quarter, month, if you wanted to calculate the to group the sales or revenue data based on the time period, so you can use this year, quarter, month, date. The next one is the trigonometric function. So in trigonometry we'll be using a round. So round is basically, it's useful for rounding the financial values to a nearest cent or a dollar. Okay. So you can round it based on the particular nearest value. And if you take statistical functions, we have two statistical functions which we can use. One is rank x and percentile x. So if you take about rank x, so it is useful for ranking the products, customers, or other financial metrics. So this is what the rank x. Percentile x is what this is useful for calculating 25th, 50th, 75th percentile of the sales or the revenue data. So if you want me to discuss all these DAX functions with some example, then I can definitely do. But this is the very basic understanding of what are the possible DAX functions which we can do. Finally, we can go with the relationship function, where we have related. Related is the DAX function. These are all the expressions. Okay, so you can use related, and inside that you can pass some value into it. Okay. So these functions, it is useful for creating calculations that involve multiple related tables. If you have any schema, if you have any specific tables which are related to each other, then you'll be using a related table. So these are all the various basic and essential DAX functions which we can use it for financial domain. So if you wanted to know about what are the DAX function which you can use it for your specific domain, like bank or education or hospital or FMVG, so whatever it may be, so you can just tell me, comment that in the comment that. I'll be definitely helping you out. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.